but it's uncured, unsmoked. It's glorious.
Good, yeah, good fatty pork there. Glorious. Yes.
And this pork fat's really what's gonna provide all the fat for the whole chili.
Okay.
So there is about half a cup of thick pieces of pork belly there.
And if we couldn't find pork belly, could we use bacon?
You could use bacon. Pancetta works really well because you get a nice flavor from pancetta. It's just basically the Italian version of bacon, but it's not smoked.
Okay.
It's cured.
Easy enough.
So we're also going to add, this is venison sausage. Yeah. And actually one of the kiosks in World Showplace sells this venison sausage. I had gotten it in links. I cut it in half and just took the casing off, and now I just have ground venison.
Beautiful, and it's got some spices and things in there to kind of...
There's some fennel in there, some garlic, probably some coriander as well.
Yeah. So this is a great use if you are a hunter or you know any hunters in your life who actually might have some venison to give you, that would be a good use up for that. But certainly we could use, like you said, any kind of meat that we had on hand or want to use, we can throw it in there.
Yes, and now the smoked part is our brisket. Now, I smoked all this brisket about 2 days ago and I let it rest. But this is about a quarter of the brisket that I used. I used 2 whole briskets.
And I learned recently that the brisket actually is kind of composed of 2 different pieces, 2 different muscles. So one is kind of lean and it does all the heavy lifting, and one is kind of fattier. So you can, when you buy a whole brisket, you're getting both of those, right?
Yes.
Is that right?
And then we have all of our spices. This is a lot of spices we're doing today.
Good chilies have lots of spices.
They do.
So.
Actually, I think I left my spices in the refrigerator.
And the spices are one of those things that do go bad. They have an expiration date. So if you didn't know that, or if you haven't checked yours in a while, go to your spice cabinet at home and look through and toss anything that's expired. Even if it looks good, even if it still even smells like it's okay, it's not going to be bad for you. It just won't have that really strong flavor. That's really important when you're using spices. That's where you're using it for the flavor. So they do expire after a while.
They do, but they last for like a few years.
They do. That's
My
true.
parents still have. It's expired now, but when I was growing up, they had the same bottle of they went to Sam's Club and bought a huge thing of garlic powder, and they still had it. So this is a spice blend that I've come up with myself, and actually the second one we're going to use on our ribs is something that I've used all through college. I started a pop-up restaurant in college, and we were the most successful one in the school's history for the one day we were open. It was Vermont and in the winter, so.
Well, it takes a lot of effort to get out in Vermont in the winter.
It does. So this is a tablespoon of oregano, a tablespoon of dried parsley. Only use dried herbs when I make rubs. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon, because it's the thing that makes you think, oh, hey, what's that thing I don't know?
Yeah, that secret ingredient.
Then 1 tablespoon of granulated garlic.
Fresh, not in from the giant 10-year-old bottle.
2 tablespoons of granulated onion. 2 tablespoons of dry mustard. And half a tablespoon of chili powder.
Making chili, gotta have chili powder.
You do.
Right? So this is a rub for the brisket that's going to then be smoked, is
Yes.
that right? Okay.
And then quarter of a cup of brown sugar because it needs to be
A
sweet.
little bit of sweetness, yeah.
So
you go.
I'm just gonna rub this right on the meat. I usually try and let it sit for a while before I actually smoke it. Just because.
Overnight
I forgot to add paprika to this.
Oh.
It was sitting next to me. 3 tablespoons of paprika.
Yeah. And that adds that pretty color and a little bit of. Does paprika have really a flavor? I always wonder this.
It does. I actually prefer smoked paprika. Hungarian smoked paprika to be specific. My dad used it a lot when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So I just sprinkle it on here, and I try to let the brisket rest for an hour before it goes onto the smoker at 225 degrees for 8, 9, 10 hours.
Low and slow, right?
There's some smokers you can buy now that actually will work overnight. They're little pellet smokers, called Traegers, is what actually I use to smoke all this. You set it at 225 and it will just go. You can put it on at night. In the morning it'll be done.
That's handy.
So we're gonna smoke this. Smoke it. I'm gonna put it in the oven.
A little Disney magic. We'll have our oven becomes a smoker.
Yes, it does. And we're just gonna chop up some vegetables as well. So there's something called the Trinity. It's 50% onion, 25% celery, 25% peppers. And it is the base to most Creole and Cajun cooking. Now the normal French version is mirepoix, which is 50% onion, 25% celery, and 25% carrot.
So the carrots and the peppers are sort of interchangeable for the mirepoix to the Trinity. And is there a benefit of using one over the other, or?
It's just how they use it. When you see a lot of Cajun and Creole cooking,